Howdy everyone, my name is Joshua Rogers. I am a sophomore at Charleston Southern University in the biochem department. I was born actually in Greenville, South Carolina, but moved to Charleston, South Carolina when I was about 5 years old. I've been in the church my entire life, and I was born and raised in a Christian home. So I can remember when I was about 4 years old, I went to my mom and was like, I wanted to give my life to Jesus. And I can remember praying that prayer with her in the kitchen that day. But it didn't really mean much until later on in my life. And at about 9th grade, I had a teacher who really challenged me to pursue God more fully and to read scriptures and just to spend time with him and fall in love with him. And it was amazing. And I can remember reading things and starting to journal and really just understand what it meant to love God. But also at this time, I had started to get into pornography. And so there was this sin in the back of my mind that I knew was there. And I was trying to lead people to Jesus, but I felt like there's something wrong with me. And I kept being like going back to God, but nobody knew about it. So it was just me and God fighting. And it was really hard. And I still remember one time I just was like, God, I'm done with this. Like, I don't want this in my life anymore. And I had been clean for a while. And this was actually into like sophomore, junior year of high school. And I can remember I walked into the kitchen and God was like, I watched my life in the weirdest way, like reverse back to the time that it started, and God erased it, and it was just gone. He's like, Josh, that's what I've done to your sin. It's gone. It's no longer there. And I can remember like the joy that I felt in that moment that like I am forgiven, and that this God who loves me took my sin away by dying on the cross. And it just was crazy, starting to fall in love with him from that point of view, that he had taken it and it was gone. And I can remember seeing people in my high school start to get changed. And we even had a chapel that went for 2.5 hours where people were just falling on their faces before God. And it was so cool to see him work in and through me, and just because he'd forgiven me. And it was so awesome. And then I graduated high school, and I was looking for a church to get involved in. And I remember I had gone to Northwood Student Ministries before, and I just, for whatever reason, didn't like it. And so I was afraid to come to Genesis because I was like, I'm probably not going to like it again. But I like finally bit the bullet and was like, all right, I'm going to go. And I went, and I remember talking to some people who I relatively knew, and they just really made me feel welcome. And I was like, this is pretty cool. And I started getting involved, and small groups starting up. And I had stood alone for a long time and fought, like I had said before, just me and God over things. And when we started talking about small groups, I was like, man, I need this. And I remember I was sitting in the chairs and just like crying because I was like, I've been standing alone so long, and it was exhausting. And so I got involved in small groups, and they were like one of the best things that happened to me. I could just go and sit with a group of guys who are also fighting and struggling and standing strong in their faith, and just hear what God was doing. And it was huge for my life and really just propelled me further. Now I lead a small group actually, and just love helping other guys stand strong together, because that's really where the body of Christ is. We're one church, one family, and it's been so cool for me to be involved in Genesis in that way.